We had another moment this weekend. We had one last weekend. Refs getting calls wrong, right? DC missed the eye poke. This weekend we had, I think it was in the Riddell fight, where it was a clean shot, and the refs saw it as as an eye poke. Last week it was Jesse Jess, and the knee, was it illegal? Was it legal? Ed Herman was another one 2 weeks back, right? Like it seems to be happening quite a bit right now. Look, I'm always under the understanding that we're human. We all make mistakes. I'm happy with that. I guess where I see a bit of a problem is, we'll go this weekend, the knuckle. So he thought he got poked in the eye. The ref then called it a poke in the eye. The instant replay straight away showed that it wasn't. But yet they still brought in the doctor and everything like that. And my kind of take on that is, look, we all make mistakes. I'm happy for him to stop the action and consider it an eye poke. But as soon as it comes up on screen and you can go, "Oop, I made a mistake," I kind of feel like, well, you've got to call the action straight back in. You can't go, okay, we'll still give him a minute to, maybe not the 5 minutes, but we'll give him a minute, 2 minutes while the doctor's checking him out to potentially recover. The Ed Herman one was a classic example, right? Where he got the 5 minutes pretty much to recover, claiming it was a nut shot and it was a total legal blow. And he ended up then turning it around and taking the win. And you kind of go, well, technically, and as I say, like, I'm happy for the refs to make the mistakes. What I'm not happy about is the continuation of, like, well, we've now paused it for an illegal blow. We've seen it's not an illegal blow, but we'll continue like it was an illegal blow, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so I think each instance has to take its own consideration. And for me, the one that stands out was obviously yesterday. The referee made a decision on the guy's action. He called timeout. Like, he never saw it. He had plain sight, but the ref decided to make a stop because of the guy saying, "I got poked in the eye." You can't do that.
And I don't. But wait. I don't even blame the guy, because sometimes you don't know what you got hit by. So I'm not even angry at the guy.
Correct.
Like whether he thought it was an eye poke or not, that's totally legitimate too. So I'm not even angry at him. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not angry at anything leading up to what had happened. So even if you bought the bait, I'm happy for you to make that call. But then, because you could hear Riddell's corner going, "Look at the video, right?"
Absolutely.
And once you see that, I just kind of go, well, can't we just, or look at the video before you call the doctor in, first and foremost, because once the doctor's in, he's in. But, like, quickly take 10 seconds, look at the screen, and if you still feel it's illegal, then call the doctor in. But,
My point is that the ref had clean line of sight, saw the whole thing, never made the decision to stop the fight until the guy goes, oh, I got poked in the eye. You're allowing the fighter to dictate your response, not your own eyes. So he had no problem watching the fight and carrying on had the guy never made that action. So he clearly didn't see that it was a poke in the eye. He just took the guy's, "Oh, I got poked in the eye." You can't do that, So, these guys are human. They're going to make these mistakes. It's bound to happen. It's part of the sport. It happens. It happened to us. It's happened many a times. It's the sport we all love. It's just like having the umpires. They're going to have a strike zone, and sometimes it's a ball, sometimes it's a strike, and it's subjective, and that's the way we have to deal with it. But the more we can get these guys more education, I think, is the best. More time in the cage. I have referees that come into the gym and they volunteer their time to ref sparring matches and to watch grappling rounds. I appreciate that, and I love seeing that. I've had judges come in and watch our sparring rounds, and then they would get done and they would ask or they would critique. And I think that's important to give these men and women a platform to be able to do that. Now, it only makes our sport better. So when anytime a referee hits me up and says, hey, can I come in and ref sparring today? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because some of these fuckers need it, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy. What I found funny though with the Riddell one, like to try to save face, did you see when the action resumed, the ref actually told Riddell to watch his hands, watch his fingers? Did you notice that? So like they restarted after all of that, and then he still gives Riddell the warning, and it's like, bro,
the warning. Yeah,
you know,
obviously, you know, yeah, crazy.
But even with that, you know, as I said, like even when you look at the highest of high of the refs, Herb Dean and stuff, like, you know, even he makes errors, and that's what I'm saying. I'm okay with that. Like I'm okay with people making errors because, as I say, we are human, and I think it, and in all sports, you know, like we get it over here with the football and stuff, where a call doesn't go your way, and people are straight away, you know, wear your glasses, ref, and things like that, and I think it adds to the emotion and everything. So I'm okay with that. I just, as I said, what irritates me is when you can clearly see the replay afterwards, and once again, like I would just be like, okay, well, we can see that was legal. Let's keep going. You can't go. Okay, it's a TKO, right? Like straight there and then.
Yeah.
And if you can go, we're restarting now. We're not going to give you the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, right? That's probably the only issue I have with that.
And unfortunately for these referees, the only time we ever talk about these poor guys and men and women is when they make a big mistake, right? And I see some super talented refs that I'm more than happy that when I see them come in the locker room, say, hey, I have your fight tonight, you know, and then they don't interrupt the fight. They don't interject themselves into the fight. Or some refs, I feel like they feel like they want to be just as important as the fighters at times, you know, like, oh, this guy's got an ego, so he's going to talk a little more. He's going to say a little bit more. He's going to interject himself in the fight a little bit more. Whereas like a guy like Keith Peterson, man, that dude doesn't say a word. And I don't care if he smells like cigarettes or booze or this or that. I know the dude's a great referee, and I'm always excited to have the guy, you know, when he's coming in our locker room. He's great.
Well, yeah, I agree. The cigarettes, I mean, look, we're all trying to live healthy lifestyles, so maybe not the best choices for him to make, but like the cigarettes is fine. The alcohol, maybe not so, but like I thought the cigarettes was a bit weird. But even that, like, I mean, look, that was debatable. Obviously, you're talking about the Dominic Cruz fight.
Right.
And you're right. We only, same with the judges, we only give them grief. We never praise them when they've done something right? And that's also why it was important for me early on with this podcast. I already got a couple of our judges in that. Obviously, they do the national circuit, and they also judge for a ref for the UFC. Because I do want to give them a voice too, because I do feel like that they cop a lot of flack when things go wrong, you know, and they never really get any sort of appreciation when they've done a job well. But like, for instance, that Dominic Cruz fight, me personally, I was like, should have let it go, right? And the reason I say that was because it was 2 seconds from the end, and I just feel like, you know, being so close to the end of the round, I just feel like, you know, you could have let it go for 2 seconds, see what he comes out like in round 2, and so forth. You know, where when I spoke to both John Sharp and Jimmy, who are the refs over here, they both said, look, we don't keep an eye on the time, right? And I'm like, yeah, but you would have heard the 10-second clap, and they're under the impression that they make judgment calls as they see it, not if it's at the start of the round, end of the round. And I get that. My whole thing is like 2 seconds. Come on, 2 seconds. Give us an extra 2 seconds. So I kind of feel like that fight. But once again, everyone's got a different opinion, you know, like, and I think, you know, they've got the right to make those calls. We put them in that position to make those calls, and I'm okay with that. As I said, I'm just not okay when we blatantly see that it's the wrong call, and then, you know, you allow things to continue. Ed Herman was a classic example, right? Like, it's just like...
Exactly.